Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Friday, April the 11th, 2025. Well, let me tell you something. Spitfire Carly, she was there. Oh, she told Willow. Now, Nina took little Wiley to the back room, to, I guess, maybe the family room, turned up the TV for him and Amelia. They didn't say where Scout was. See, I'm sorry. Where's Scout? Okay. And Carly said, Willow, I need you to think. This is absolutely the wrong move. You're moving Michael's kids into here today. Oh no. You know, look, move back into Nina's. She goes, heck, I'll put you up in a room at the Metro Court till you find your own place. But this is not the right move. And Drew says, you can't come in here, Carly, and spit your venom or whatever he says. And Willow says, Carly, this is not your decision to make. It is my decision. The kids love it here already. And we're fine. We're gonna be fine. So Nina comes from the back and she says, okay, I've got them in the room with the TV on. It's up so they can't hear because it's getting a little loud out here. Carly continues to rant, right? Meanwhile, Nina is texting Jason, telling him to get over ASAP, right? So Willow says, no, Carly says, listen, when are you going to see Drew for who he really is? He is, she goes, I know who Drew is. She goes, you haven't even known him long enough to know, Willow. And so she goes, I love Drew. And she looked at Drew and Drew looked at her because I guess, hadn't said that before. Carly said, look, she goes, and you have, Drew goes, Carly, you have no grounds, no standing. She goes, oh, yeah, I do. She goes, you should wait for Michael to return. She goes, we don't know when Michael's going to return. And so Carly says, okay, then I'm going to fight for Michael. And I'm going to tell you, oh, we're nowhere near but done. So not Drew, Willow says something about something to Carly. Michael and our marriage was having trouble way before Drew. And Carly just looked at her. She goes, do you hear yourself talking? Because I'm telling you, everybody, I sure didn't know that marriage was in divorce worthy uh territory. She and Michael were going out on date nights down at Curtis's Club the Savoy, looking good. Kiss. Oh, come on. What you talking about, girl? Right? So things started unraveling when she quit her job as a nurse and went to work for Drew. That's when things started to unravel and only unravel for her because Michael didn't have a clue anything was wrong. She and Wiley doing picnics out at the little boathouse, you know, for Michael when he got, no, Willow, you're lying, you know, but I guess that's what you need to tell yourself so you can sleep at night. So Carly said, you know what? I thought your sister was the worst, the bad one. She go, and Nina's like, and Willow says, what? She goes, oh no, Nell didn't have nothing on you. She said, because see, with Nell was honest with her animosity, with her hatred. But you, on the other hand, you are very undercover with yours, Willow. You're obviously a better liar than Nell was. because I don't recognize you. And so she goes, how dare you compare me to my sister? She switched my baby with, Michael's child. And she goes, oh, yeah. And here you are trying to steal Michael's children. They are my children too. And Carly looked at her. She goes, child. And Drew says, what did you say? And Willow turned around. What did you say? She goes, child. Oh, you only have one. See, Michael graciously gave you the other and let you adopt Wiley. But Wiley absolutely is not your biological child. So she said, what did she say? She said something to Carly, and Carly hauled off and was getting ready to slap the mess out of Willow. Now, mind you, Drew did not step in, right? You would have thought Drew would have known what Carly was going to do and he would have stepped in. But it took Jason coming up from behind. And he stopped that hand mid ready to slap. He had her back here, right? And she turned and she looked at him and he goes, enough, Carly. Enough. And so she goes, no, they are not going to get away with it. And Jason is like, let's go, Carly. And so she goes, Drew says, don't ever come back to my house. And Willow's like, you are no longer welcome here. And she goes, oh, look, let me tell you something. Oh, you haven't seen a fight. My son might be, no, Drew says, look, if Michael wants the situation changed, or if Michael wants to fight, Michael will have to come and fight. And Carly looked at Drew. She goes, bottom line, you were the one that wanted him in Germany for him to be so far away. And Carly says, oh, where he's getting the best care? You definitely wanted him or would want him to get subpar care, right? No. She says, Michael does not have to be here for a fight. And you're going to see what kind of fight you're going to get. So Jason looks at her and he's kind of backing her out the door. So when he gets her out the door and they close the door, he's like, Carly, what are you doing? She goes, oh no. Oh no. I have only begun to fight. And I was like, you know what? I ain't mad at her. I am not mad at Carly. Because there needs to be some action with this storyline. And what I'm saying, some action. The truth be told, everybody, they need to recast. 100%. This storyline hinges on Michael. All this other stuff happening and just moving things along, Michael is pivotal to this. If Chad wants to do Chad, let him do Chad. But recast that character. Michael Corinthos is rehabilitating, and this is soap opera land. His last skin graft should be almost done. That's how they roll in soaps. Bring him back. You know, like somebody said in Common Corner, the guy that plays Thomas Forrester, woo, he'd be a heck of a Michael, but an evil Michael. he is evil personified. He's got the dark hair like Sonny. Oh, that would be the best Michael. Because Chad wanted time away to just spend time with his son, I think he's one now, and be a dad. Well, doggone it, you in a play now on Broadway. Rehearsals, moving to New York while this is happening, performing. Okay, if that's what you want to do, but you ain't taking your son on set, Chad. Sometimes soap opera actors need a break, and I understand that. But right now, the role is too pivotal to just not have a Michael on scene. It just really is. So offer the actor, the replacement actor, a 1 year contract. Just don't get the guy to play Noah on Youngly Restless. He is not ruthless enough and can't pull it off. Right? So I had to get on that tangent for a lot of reasons, right? We will be on the edge of our seat with the whole Sasha thing. We'll be on the edge of our seat with what he's getting ready to do to just decimate Drew. And just bring Willow to her knees. Cause all he got to do is do some ruthless stuff, and Willow'd be like, "Who's that guy? Ooh, I like that cutting edge, huh? Yeah, yeah." And then get your kids and let it come out that Sasha's baby is yours. So yeah, hey, okay. And now Willow really would be very upset. But anyway, so we shall see where that's going to go. But and Willow, you want to know who did not jump in and say, "That's enough, Carly"? Nina. Nina just stood back and called in reinforcements to come get Carly out. And when Carly left, she stood in front of Willow and she looked at her, right? Like really trying to assess, are you okay? But she looked at her because what was Nina's words? Willow, this is a bad move. You're going to antagonize the Quartermains and alienate Michael's family. Willow, think. No, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to live my life for so. Okay. So Willow, Nina kind of gave her that, I told you so look. And then Drew goes, wow, you really stood up to Carly. Wow. Not many people can say, yeah, okay. Okay, Drew. Okay. So the next good scenes, really good scene. Alexis. Alexis comes in. Diane is jabbering on about the case that she had to go into the judge's chambers for, but she could see in Alexis's face, okay, something's up. Because see, when I left here, you were whistling coming through the door. You were riding high. Something's wrong. She goes, tell me what's wrong. So Alexis says, I need to hire you as my attorney. And Diane looked at her and said, oh my God. Oh my God, what have you done? You're like, oh my God, what have you done? She goes, first, let's make this official. So Diane drew up or printed out some kind of contract, real quick one. Alexis signed it, gave it to her. Diane says, now tell me what is going on. And she said, it's Christina. And she told her what she did, what Christina did. Now, what she did not say is Ava is the one that told me. Ava's trying to blackmail me. And I don't know why Alexis didn't tell Diane that. I don't know why. That was to me a bad move. But anyway, Diane was like, Christina did what? She goes, oh my God. So Diane, Alexis says, Diane, I can't even think straight right now. I don't know what to do. My mind, she goes, okay, no. You got me. You got me. She said, okay. She goes, what are we looking at? She goes, first and foremost, she's got one account of attempted murder for Ava Jerome, two accounts of, I forget what she called it, for actually causing the accident with Rick and Elizabeth, because they both got really hurt, right? Maybe that was attempted manslaughter or whatever, right? She says, Christina is looking at a minimum, and this is the low end, Alexis, 15 years in prison. And Alexis is like, okay, she can't do that. She can't do that. I can't let her do that. Like, I gotta figure out a way to fix it. I gotta. So Diane says, look, she goes, you gotta come up with something else. She goes, okay, you know what? I got it. And Alexis says, what? She says, Alexis, you need to have Christina committed. She goes, you have the grounds due to her state of mind. She says, you have the grounds to do this. Because she goes, Christina would never consent to that. She goes, Christina does not have to consent to it. You're her mother. Her actions, she needs to be deemed not responsible for her actions. The only way is mental. She goes, Alexis, that's the only way. She goes, I couldn't do that to my daughter. She goes, okay, look, we're looking at a few months, only a few months in a middle institution versus a minimum, Alexis, of 15 years. See, no, you're not doing this to her. You would be doing this for her. She says, and you know what? I'm talking to you now as a friend. Christina needs help. She needs actual psychiatric help, my friend. She said, your freedom was almost taken away from you for you trying to cover up what you thought was a crime Christina committed, taking the blame for that gun. She's like, you were doing that to cover up Christina's crime or part in, could have been one. She's saying, that's a pattern, Alexis. And now look at what she's done now. Somebody could have died, seriously died. She says, and then look at what happened to her. I mean, Diana broke it down. She said, you'll be doing this for her. So Alexis is sitting there, and the look on her face, I'm telling you, Nancy, the actress Alexis, oh my God, she's done a heck of a job. They put her as a mother. Wow. Okay. She's looking there, she's sitting there, and a tear just starts coming down her face because she says, Alexis, look, Molly, she goes, think of Molly. With Christina being committed and getting the help she actually desperately needs, she said that is going to allow a road for Molly and Christina to build a relationship later. It is. She said, but without it, and Molly finds out, Alexis, you're going to lose both your girls. And Alexis is just sitting there. So Diane says, it is your choice. She stands up, getting ready to walk back to her desk. And Alexis looks at her. She said, do it. And Diane says, beg your pardon? She goes, do it. Draw up the papers now. And Diane just looks at her, and I thought, yes, but don't flip flop. Excuse me, y'all. Come Monday. Now, what Alexis needs to do, she needs to call Sunny and tell Sunny, I need to see you in Diane's office now. It's important. And it's about Christina. Have Sunny come there so that if you start to break down, Diane is there. Diane will be able, because one thing Alexa said, and Sunny, her father, when she goes, wait, no, 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 honey. If it's one thing Sunny understands, are mental health issues. And as he also would understand the protection of that facility, of a facility for Christina at this point. Have Sunny come over and let Diane do the talking. Alexis just needs to sit there and be just crying and distraught as she naturally feels right now. Because see, one thing about Sunny was just having dinner with that chick last night. He can't tell that she has done what she has done, because Christina, she does not internalize any of that. She doesn't. And then when she does think about her part in any of it, she shifts the blame to somebody else. Ava. So I was really proud of Alexis. I'm hoping they have her follow through with that. Do not have her flip flop and get a buy-in from Sunny, because you know what else that does, everybody? That snatches the rug right from under Ava on both counts. Ava won't be able to blackmail Sunny with the news about Christina. She won't. Now, Sunny's heart situation, oh, she will. You know? But see, that's Sunny's fault. You know, Sunny will be recuperated right now. Had he had that operation in February, the recoup time was only 2 weeks. That was it. Now his poor little ticker is getting weaker and weaker. Recoup time could be a month now because of all the little episodes he's had, right? So yeah, I was happy with both of those progressions on those stories. They were really, really good. Okay, Joss's assignment is that professor. Is the professor. The WSB is interested in him. That means that man is up to something. She's got like this to wiggle her way into being the assistant. Now, as far as homework and everything, I bet you they're gonna have to have the WSB here. Your homework's done. Here it is. It's in your email. Turn this in. Because how could she already, the semester only has another month. How could she turn in any kind of work to make up past work? I mean, come on now. But anyway, that's just, they don't want us to think about true college life. They don't. So what's going to happen is, watch, little Miss Nosy Emma is going to be watching Jocelyn. You up to something? What you up to? Because Emma might even have a little crush on the professor. They haven't shown him. Watch, it's going to be hot. Watch. He's going to be cute. And Emma's going to be all in Joss's business. So anyway, we'll see where that goes. Now, Anna is talking to Emma. And Emma says, Grandma, you know, I signed an NDA, so I can't talk about it. She goes, oh, no, no, I understand that. I understand it. You don't have to talk about it because I got your sealed records unsealed and released to me. Or unsealed for me, right? She says, so I know exactly what you did. And it wasn't throwing a huge party that got out of hand. Obviously, the party what was a cover for you. So Emma looks at her and Emma tells her the story. They had suspicions about the animals in this build, one of the science buildings. So yeah, she had a crowbar. Her and her friends broke in. She said what we were supposed to do was free the animals. Free them. And my whole thing is, what do you mean carry them out? Because you can't just let them loose in the lab. I mean, you're going to have to be carrying out these sick and experimented on animals, right? So she said, but they got caught. And the others ran. And she says, I was starting to run, but she got stopped by a security guard, I think it was. Or did she say a cop? I don't know, because I have listened to Emma, out of habit, you know. And Anna ain't my favorite person because she gonna get all wrapped up in the story and believe you and back you. Oh, she pull a few tears, which is what she did. Emma could have been lying, but Anna did have the records, right? But the records didn't say everything. The school did not want it to get out that they were actually doing animal testing on school, in school labs. They didn't want that out. So anyway, Emma says, and I I accidentally hit the guard with the crowbar that I used to break in. And that's what got her in the most trouble. Right. But she was saying, but grandma, they were on innocent animals and grab. She had a reason and Anna believe, oh, you believe God. Okay, Emma, whatever. So it's my guess this professor, he's got some kind of cause. Watch. It's going to be some kind of cause that Emma is going to be behind. Some kind of cause, right? So now the last thing that I'm just going to mention halfway, Kai talks to Trina. Oh, he's already decided. He ain't even waiting for Portia to come up with any uh research. He's going to have that surgery because I could get him playing football. And Trina's like, okay. I mean, it's risky. And I thought you wanted mama to go, no, you know what? I did ask her, but I'm going to go ahead and because look, the more time goes by, it needs to happen soon to be effective and this, that, and the other. And she just said, just know you're going to owe. Well, actually, Trina left. She goes, oh my God, I got to do something for the gallery. She goes to Portia, telling Portia, Kai's going to have the surgery. Kai's going to have this. And I'm saying, Trina, in my mind, stay out of it. At this point, for one, Kai is grown. For two, he's given access to a chief of staff, co-chief of staff of the hospital. He either takes it or not. This is where Trina always goes overboard. Leave it at that, because she told Kai, okay, whatever your decision is, I'm just here to support you. Then do that. Just leave it like that, Trina. Okay. So Curtis had come in to pick up some takeout. And Kai was leaving Curtis was leaving and Kai, I guess, was leaving at the same time because Trina had already left. And he tells him he's going to go ahead and go with the surgery and blah, blah, blah. This is going to give him a chance. And Curtis says, okay, well, it's your decision. I just said, make sure that you're not being pressured into it. He goes, no, I'm not. He goes, and understand this. I know you feel Congressman Kane is just doing this out of the goodness of his heart. And he looked at Kai. He goes, there will be a price. You mark my words. There will be a price. He goes, okay, I hear you. And look, I hear you. He didn't hear nothing. He didn't hear anything. But okay. So we'll see where that goes. Bottom line, probably in the beginning he'll be paralyzed like Curtis was. You know, they always love that. Put people in wheelchairs. And then months later they're able to walk again. Yeah, okay. Okay. We'll go with that. And then I think that was about it. Jason convinced Sasha not to be too hasty to want to leave the Quartermain estate. And he was just talking about, she goes, but you walked away, you separated yourself. He goes, yeah, but my story was different. I grew up with the Quartermains. My story was different. He says, but one thing I could tell you, Sasha, is this is a beneficial environment for my son, for Danny. Danny is surrounded by family. And that is so important. He says, Sasha, your baby, you staying here. I'm not saying you got to stay here as the cook, but you staying here, your baby would be surrounded by family and you would have a lot of support. And so she just looked at him and she smiled. She goes, I'll think about it. Oh, you going to stay there, chick. You really are. I know I would. They have nannies there. That's a no brainer. 100% a no brainer. So, anyway, everybody, that's it. That's it today. I can't wait for Sunny to get involved. Last but not least, Portia calls Brad in and she says, okay, I got an assignment for you. I want you to comb through Drew Kane's medical file and all his labs. I want a comprehensive history on him. And do not forget when he came in as John Doe before he even knew who he was. I want to know everything there is medically about him. And he goes, but that's not my level of expertise. That could take she goes, I don't care how long it take. You want to keep your job, right? Then you better get on it. So he goes, right away, Dr. Robinson. Yeah, Brad. So she's not trying to plant false medical evidence. She's trying to find something. I don't know what she's going to find, but she'll find something. They're getting ready to do yet another rewrite of history. They're going to write something in that Portia's going to uncover regarding Drew Kane. So I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that he's not even a Quartermain. He's just Drew Kane. Maybe that'll be it. So anyway, let's go to comment corner. Comment corner. I'm going to start my trusty dusty stopwatch. Stopwatch. Here we go. From the top down. From the top down. Lin Wan says, I'm glad Diane told Alexis that her hooked on phonics daughter needs help before she kills someone and blames Ava. Willow showed us who she is. I want her to lose her children to find out while Drew was chasing her, he was playing hide the sausage with her mother. Let Willow move in with Dirty Drew. That will all work in Michael's favor and get his kids. I hope Josh doesn't have to kill the professor. Well, if he tries to attack her, she will. Um, Tanya says, I really don't miss Drew and Willow uh, the last couple of days. Me either. I almost forgot they were a thing. Drew just keeps getting more and more diabolical. They have totally changed him. Willow is as weak as ever. Who who was it that said she is a part of Dawn of Day? Dawn of Drew was totally on point. That was Sasha. That was Sasha. The way she looks at him after she makes the decision is just wrong. I know, I can't stand it. I just saw Maurice Sonny is having the last Michael before Chad on his show. I would be happy if they brought him back. I didn't like the way that Michael was acting. He always acted unhinged to me. I was happy they recasted him. I really was. Um, Aisha says, I'm joining in with everyone else questioning how Brick could have missed Sidwell and Natalia connection. Oh, she tried to explain it. They got married in the Seychelles. There was no record, you know. Oh, is that what it was? Okay. Her long ago out of the country marriage might be the off the electronic trail, but with musicians' careers she managed is a matter of public records, assuming that it was known that Eloy was her son. Yeah, just as uh, it was known that Blaze was her daughter. Uh, then the father's identity should have been investigated. The Corinthos organization isn't staying on top of things as it should be, not at all. Have you even figured out who and when the firebomb was planted? They figured out who. Remember, they killed the guy, bumped his head, and died. Why haven't they been keeping tabs on the comings and goings of Spoon Island? I know. Uh, Diva says Sasha was on point with the cult Drew Kane comment. Willow just makes moves from cult to cult. She's so blind to his control. Sewing Room says, poor Jason. He has all the women telling him what to do. When they do announce Monica's death, it might break Jason, or maybe his memories will return. um that would be a real twist. That would be a real twist. Patricia says, I thought Emma did not work. We didn't want to attend that class. No, she loved that class, right? Black Purple Turquoise says, Willow's a lost case. It's as simple as that. People need to stop wasting their time and energy on her and focus on Wiley and Amelia and doing everything possible to save them. Let Willow go down that sinking ship that is named Drew. By the time she realizes she's drowning, there's nothing she could do. Okay. Well, it will be too late. And in the end, it'll be all on her too. She and Drew will get what they deserve in the end. She gets what she deserves, rightfully so, by being with him and endangering those children in the process. And where is Scout? I know. Where's Scout? Haven't seen her at all lately. The daughter Drew's supposed to care about. Yeah, right. He couldn't care less about Scout, just like Willow couldn't care less about Wiley and Amelia. Just what her and Drew want and need. That is so true. But here's the thing. She'll get stuck with Drew. But remember what Drew told Maxie? Willow and I can have other kids. Mm-hmm. She's thinking, oh, yeah, she's breedable age. Yeah, sure can. There we go. Desiree says, frame Drew for extortion and blackmail if he stays away from Willow and the kids. Christera says, hi, everyone. Have a great and safe weekend. And then Magdalena says, hi, Daily Recap. Lady, today's episode is okay. Inference to Carly, it's about time she takes action. The Quartermains and the Corinthos are going to fight for Michael's kids. They should. Where Where's this planning from Nina and Carly? Nothing. It didn't even happen. Supposed to do. And Portia and Nina, what happened to that? I like the way Tracy approached Carly. That was great. I like the interaction between Tracy and Jason. I like the interaction between Laura and Jordan. Who murdered? Wait, who's murdered Sabrina Santiago was Paul Hornsby. Yeah, they said that in yesterday's daily recap. I remember that storyline. I haven't been watching GH I have been watching GH for 59 years. I thought it was 57 years. Wow, okay. I like the way Sonny cut off ties with Natalia. She should have been honest with Sonny. Sonny doesn't play. Wait, Sonny does play when people are not honest. You mean doesn't play with him. Sidwell is up to something. I love how Laura gives heads up to Sonny. Me too. Well, that's all for now. I'll keep tuning in and thanks for doing this for the GH fans. Many blessings, Maggie. You are welcome, Maggie. And then Magdalena says, thank you for your comment. I appreciate it. Many GS fans, Maggie. Oh, sorry, Maggie again. And then I am says, Alexis should have given Christina the same talk that Laura gave Esme and Nicholas about taking responsibility. Exactly. For someone like Christina is setting a match to a keg. Christina is too weak. They made her weaker than before. And then the last comment is from Alicia. Alicia says Michael having a side baby should not affect the divorce custody, especially given Willow's behavior. That's what I'm saying. Sewing Room says, I agree. Having a side baby is not a big deal in divorces these days. I'm hoping Michael comes back with a vengeance. He is every bit as ruthless, mini Sunny when he needs to be. Yes, he is. He has killed before too. Michael ain't play. He would not play. So let Michael be Michael, but get the right actor to play Michael, which is Chad. Like, don't get me wrong. Chad is the best Michael for me. However, he's choosing to want to do something else. Let him, because his heart would need to be in this. When they bring Michael back on the canvas, there's going to be multiple storylines, pivotal, that he is going to be involved with, which is why it has to be a strong actor. Thomas from The Young and the Restless is that strong actor. He can pull this off. Because look, he got to come back and be with vengeance in business. And don't go back to Aurora. Take your daddy's business. Your daddy need to retire. You could do that. He could come back and mop up Drew and Willow and get his kids. He could do that. And he's going to have to set up house with Sasha. No matter how Sasha felt about being, Brando working for Sonny, a whole lot has happened to poor Sasha to toughen her up, right? To toughen her up. She'll be okay with it, with whatever Michael's, because Michael will protect her. Michael make sure Jason will protect his family. All right, everybody, that's it. That's it for my daily recap. I'll be back on Monday. Everybody have a happy and safe weekend.